Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, may peace and blessings be upon you. Great greetings and best wishes to all of us. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, greetings of virtue. Let us begin by expressing our gratitude to the Almighty, for it is through His grace and guidance that we are gathering here today for this ASEAN BIM webinar 2023 in conjunction with ASEAN BIM Competition 2023, Enhancing Sustainable Construction through Building Information Modeling. This event is organized by ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organizations and civil vocational body of the Indonesian Engineers Association or Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia through the Hakka Expert Talk platform. We would also like to extend our sincere thanks to our event supporters, including Pertubuhan Ukur Jurutera dan Arsitek Malaysia, Board of Engineers Cambodia, Law Union of Science and Engineering Associations, the Institutions of Engineers Malaysia, Federation of Myanmar Engineering Societies, the Philippines Technological Council, the Institution of Engineers Singapore, the Engineering Institute Thailand, Vietnam Union of Science and Technology Association, Lembaga Pengembangan Jasa Konstruksi Indonesia, PT Hutama Karya Persero, all of the countries and all the participants across Indonesia. Good afternoon, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the one from Hutama Karya, and I will be your host for this event today. Before we delve into the program, please allow me to read out the rules and guidelines for this webinar. Rules are displayed on the screen. The first rule, all participants are kindly requested to use the identity format, including the institution name and the name. For example, AFEO, the name is Tama Sukarya. And the second, all participants are requested not to turn on their microphone or share screen or draw on the screen or engage in any other activities that may disrupt the event. The next is the participants' attendance and virtual background links can be accessed at the Linktree website. The next, the questions can be sent to the co-host account named Q&A and should be written in the following format. Name, institution of origin, and the question to, after that, the questions. And the last one, please refrain from spamming the chat and question and answers. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Additionally, we kindly remind all participants to complete the attendance form, which is available on the APCOM 23 Linktree that's shared by the committee. And we would like to greet all the speakers that are in the meeting room, including Mr. Danis Sumadilaga, Mr. Ye Choufong, Mr. Aswin Indravasta, Mr. Nathan Traveskis, and Miss Ami Rahmadani Widyastuti. We hope you are all in a great condition for today. Okay, before we begin, I would like to invite all the speakers and participants who are present in this room to take a virtual group photo. Therefore, we kindly request everyone to please turn on your cameras to the organizing committee and please assist in the taking the picture. Once again, I would like to remind to all participants and speakers to please turn on your cameras and then give your biggest smile and please wave your hand and the committees will take the picture. Okay. Thank you. Wave your hand again. Okay, thank you. Wave your hand again. 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 Okay, I think that's enough. Thank you very much to all the speakers and all of the event participants. Let's stay engaged in this event until the end. I'd like to inform you that there are various prizes for the best participants, and there will be a quiz at the end of the event. So don't forget to invite your colleagues and friends to join us in this Zoom room. Okay, great. Let's move on to listen to the first opening speech. We will welcome the first opening speech. The opening speech will be delivered by Mr. Danis Sumadilaga. Currently, he is the president of ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organization and also the president of Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia. To Mr. Danis, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Praise and gratitude we pray to the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us the opportunity to gather at this prestigious and remarkable event. I am on behalf of the ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organization, AFEO, congratulate to the organizer, Sipil Engineering College, BKSPII, for organizing this second webinar on ASEAN Building Information Modeling, or BIM. The digital transformation development has penetrated various fields, including the architectural, engineering, and construction industry. The increasing complexity of buildings and infrastructure coupled with increasingly diverse material creates a need for advanced methods and digital application in this AEC sector. BIM, or Building Information Modeling, seeks to answer this challenge. We are also happy to announce that BIM has been used for the development of new capital city, Ibu Kota Nusantara, as well as for other national strategic projects in Indonesia, such as the Jakarta Mass Rapid Transit, which involve the design of both sub-elevated and elevated structure and infrastructure. BIM has been beneficial to produce integrated digital design, digital manufacturing and fabrication, digital construction, and digital asset delivery and management. We may find the BIM designers started to work on this BIM platform from the early stage called concept design, LOD 100, preliminary design, detail engineering design, construction, all the way down to as-built phase, LOD 500. BIM is the great move from traditional to digital construction, where the works now can be done concurrently, faster, and in high accuracy. So, ladies and gentlemen, participants in the second ASEAN BIM webinar, in line with the mission of the Institution of Engineers Indonesia, PII, to increase the very essential role of the professional engineer as an agent of change and development to respond to the challenges of digital disruptive era, we express our gratitude and appreciation to the initiative made by PII Civil Engineering College, which try to map out the development of BIM in the construction industry in Indonesia and ASEAN through webinars and the BIM competition. In addition to this BIM webinar, AFEO under Civil Engineering College of PII will also hold the second BIM competition as part of the conference of ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organization event held on 2023 November in Nusa Dua, Bali. Ladies and gentlemen, participants in this ASEAN BIM webinar. On this occasion, allow us to say again that as a large organization, we should be proud that PII with over 80,000 members has just celebrated its 71st anniversary on last May 23rd. PII in its journey has transformed into a professional engineering organization through the mandate of Law Number 11 2014 and has achieved various important milestones in relation with our international affairs and recognition, such as recognition of PI as part of the International Engineering Alliances, increasing the number of APEC engineers, increasing the number of SCPA register, increasing the number of professional engineer register with the ASEAN Engineering Register to more than 2,200 people, establishing of PII overseas chapter, such as in Singapore, Malaysia, Kuwait, United States, Australia, and others, to provide maximum support for increasing the mobility of Indonesian engineers to work and practice engineering in Indonesia. PII also signed a mutual recognition agreement with Engineer Australia on last July in Canberra. All the above achievements certainly due to the great synergy and collaboration of all components and elements of the Institution of Engineers Indonesia, starting from the element of central leadership branch and region leadership, as well as elements of implementing engineering practices bodies such as engineering college, implementing bodies, and permanent bodies under the PII. Now, kindly allow us again to express our deepest gratitude to the organizer who are inviting several speakers from both national and international. I note we have Nathan Trevaskis from BIM via Australia, Insinyur Aswin Indraprasta, PhD from Bandung Institute Teknologi, and also Insinyur Ami Widyastuti from PT Hutama Karya Indonesia. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, God Almighty, always guide and protect all our steps and pathways in realizing our common goal. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Danis, for your outstanding opening. On behalf, has spoken that BIM can be answered question to this challenge, which may be beneficial for all aspects, especially in the construction and infrastructure field. Okay, next, we are going to move to the next agenda. Let's welcome the second speech. The next speech will be delivered by Mr. Yeo Chow Fong. Currently, he is the president of ASEAN Engineering Register Commissioner. To Mr. Yeo, the floor is yours.
Hi, a very good afternoon to fellow engineers in PII, as well as also engineers from the ASEAN region. I'm Engineer Yeo Chow Fong here, the ASEAN Engineering Register Head Commissioner. And for today, I'm very proud to be invited to say a few words on behalf of AER, ASEAN Engineering Register, on the ASEAN BIM webinar 2023 organized by PI. It is indeed my great honor to be with PI and also working together. And as part of the AER activities as well, we have the ASEAN BIM webinar 2023 today. Now, maybe perhaps I would also like to maybe share today a bit on AER for the benefit of our participants as well as also friends from ASEAN, and hope that all of you would be able to understand a bit more about AER. Well, first of all, AER talks about mobility of engineers, okay, where we look at, as part of the program today as well in the ASEAN BIM webinar, it is to look at how we can work together within this region, where we want to see whether you would like to expand yourself to the ASEAN region. It is also for engineers in ASEAN to be willing to share their knowledge, not only in their own country, for example, Indonesia, but willing to share the knowledge to other countries in ASEAN. For example, this seminar and our webinar is a good example where sharing of knowledge about BIM to all over ASEAN engineers. And there's also opportunities for BIM engineers, BIM modelers, and of course, owners of BIM companies to expand your business to the ASEAN region. Or for BIM modelers and engineers today who are also present in the webinar, it is also an opportunity for you to explore BIM opportunities in the ASEAN region. For that, we have AFEO and AER to assist you. Now, a bit more on AFEO, the ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organization. This is actually formed about almost 41 years ago to look at the promotion of goodwill, mutual understanding, and standards in the ASEAN region. Now, in 1998, AFEO has decided to form a registry or a register where we look at registering ASEAN engineers. And in 2011, we have actually renamed ourselves to register ASEAN engineering members, which includes the engineering technologies, technicians, as well as also the graduate or young engineers. That is our aim. What do we want to do in AER is to look at how, as I mentioned earlier, the mobility of engineers and engineering within the ASEAN region. At the same time as well, to look at formulation of policies, standards, guidelines for engineers. For example, BIM. Okay, and of course, we work towards a common purpose and goals to share the interests, just like what we are doing today in the BIM webinar. To date, we have about 12,029 members, and I think Indonesia has a large number of them. But this is not only that, because we have a potential of 4.5 million engineers in ASEAN. Now we have several grades that engineers can actually enroll or register yourself, ranging from the professional engineers, we call it ASEAN engineer, to the associate ASEAN technicians. So for more information about the membership, you can always log into our website to AER, or you can contact our local National Monitoring Committee, which is actually a committee under each institution in ASEAN to register yourself. So why AER? You always look at 3 stages in your career. Graduate, you graduate with a degree from your university. Registration with your local Registration Engineering Council, for example, Indonesia, PII. And next stage is, of course, to look at international recognition. Now, there are a lot of benefits in AER where we look at bigger market of expertise, prospects, avenue, business potential, wider networking, as well as also more potential of the R&D for academicians. And today, the ASEAN BIM webinar is part of it. It's part of the benefit for all ASEAN engineers. Now, some of the initiatives that we do is, of course, we have the ASEAN Database of Engineers membership, where you can join and, of course, update yourself, update your capability so that it is actually seen to all the ASEAN engineers. Now, besides that as well, we have webinars and sharing session. Today is one of them. So I will actually be including one of another photo or even poster about this particular event. Now, besides that, if you look at AFEO and AER, we also have networking session, gathering session, where we gather every now and then. And of course, this year we have 2 major gatherings. One is in Bangkok, and at the end of the year, it's definitely in Bali as well. Now, in AER and also AFEO, we look at, as I mentioned, the interests of our members in ASEAN. So we form working groups, steering committees, and of course, inspectorate groups as well, to look at all these various interests, for example, energy, sustainable cities, and so forth. We even have the women engineer section, as well as also the young engineer section as well. And we also look at training, certification, and registration. All in all, we also look at enhancing the wealth of ASEAN and mobility. We have all the networking, whether physical or virtual sessions. And of course, we look at exhibitions as well, where there is also physical exhibitions, which is actually happening now in Malaysia. And we also have another 2 more in Singapore and Thailand. Now, AER also recognize the members who enroll themselves into the AER. You will actually receive a certificate. There's a certificate presentation for you, as well as also medals as well. There's also a membership card for you who have actually joined, so that you can actually enjoy the benefit of same benefit for members if you travel to other countries in ASEAN. We also have our merchandise, and our latest effort is, of course, to look at social media. Please feel free to log into our social media. We have also a membership drive, business sessions, and so on. So why ASEAN? Because the opportunities are there. Whatever you have in your own country, for example, I'm from Malaysia. So whatever you have in Malaysia is only confined to our country. But look at the bigger picture. ASEAN is a bigger market for opportunities. Okay. Besides that, we also work closely with RCEP countries like China, Korea, Japan, and so forth. Even Australia, just like I understand that PII has also signed an MRA with Australia, just like Malaysia. So opportunities are there for us in this region. So a way forward is, of course, we are also looking at how to increase our members so that we have more networking sessions for you all. And I'm also very proud PII also started the first Malaysia chapter as well. And we look at how we can ASEANize engineers in ASEAN. We also work closely with ACPE, AFEO, and of course, that's our journey. And last but not least, these are just some of our photos of our recent activities, certificate presentation, okay, and visitings of all the ASEAN members countries to promote networking. Okay, this is in Indonesia as well. It's Cambodia, Penang in Malaysia. We also have a pavilion exhibitions and so forth. And we actually, this year, we have also work closely with the second, more cities. For example, this is in Makassar. We've been to Medan as well. And next one will be in Batam. So join us. And we hope that this short presentation will trigger or even inspire you to be part of us and be part of what we have and all our activities today. So once again, thank you to the organizing committee of ASEAN BIM webinar, and all the best. Thank you, and see you again very, very soon in our next ASEAN activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yao, for the interesting speech. Now we can learn a lot throughout this introduction to the AFEO and AER to help in assisting the transfer knowledge and initiation to the program and activities in enhancing the engineers, also professionals in ASEAN and across the nation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the main agenda of this webinar. As we all know, the construction industry has faced many challenges from the productivity, supply chain, project management, and also environmental sustainability challenge. All of these things has become the global effort to tackle, one of which is with the adoption of digital technology in the business process of every organization implemented in all project lifecycle. Not only the technology, but also collaboration from all parties will surely be needed to ensure eliminating this challenge in the years to come. So today, we will have 3 awesome speakers to share their knowledge regarding their expertise in building information modeling and digital construction. We will welcome the first speaker. The first speaker is the founding director of BIMfire, a company who delivers premier building information modeling services to the global market. With a 14 across Australia, Asia, and Americas, here is Mr. Nathan Travaskis with the topic, Journey to a Digital Twin. To Mr. Nathan, the floor is yours.
Hello everybody, welcome. My name's Nathan Travaskis. I'm Director of BIMfire. Some of you may have met me before, some of you probably have not, so hello to everyone out there. Obviously this is online and not face-to-face.
Good afternoon everybody, welcome to a journey to a digital twin.
The project team consisted of McCormack Architects, obviously as the architect, AGA Group with the project managers, RSL, WA are the client, it was funded quite to a large degree by state and federal governments. Pinned down with a contractor, and BIM Fire were the BIM manager. So when RSL decided to go for a digital delivery, one of the first things that was constructed was a draft BIM execution plan. The BIM environment will be spatially accurate, with all data being in an accessible format and delivered with the LOD 500 BIM deliverable, including coordinated LOD 300 issued for construction, federated project BIM model, building perspectives and key room views, grouping of objects by search and selection sets, demonstration of clash detection, fit for model mapping in cost planning, linkage of construction planning to model elements, coordinated LOD 500 federated asset information model.
This is an example of the final asset information model. We can see if we switch off the architectural model, we're left with structure and services. If we switch off the structural model, we're left with structural steel and services, and and so on. So this is the electrical model, the mechanical model, fire model. Sorry, this is the hydraulic model. Switch that one off and we're left with the fire model. Now, if we step in and take a look at some of the individual assets within the asset information model, there's all of these sets set up that are assets by zone, assets by discipline. So in this particular instance, we're switching on, well, we're turning off everything bar all of the maintainable assets for the building. So this is isolating assets by zone. So each grouping of assets can be isolated in its own right, or we can interrogate individual assets. So if we go down here and click on, I don't know what I click on here. We click on this combi oven, I'm assuming it is. Yeah, this combi oven. All of the asset information that was, so there was a dedicated ribbon for RSL FM. Used iConstruct to push all the data to one tab that was user friendly for RSL. This is an example of the electrical switchboard, whereby each asset within that switchboard or distribution board, isn't it? Each asset within the distribution board is an asset in its own right. Just take you on a quick fly through out through this facade here. Take a quick trip up to the rooftop plant, section down through the various uses within the building, including RSL's office, the medical floor, the co-working space, the kitchen, and down into the basement. Down through the fire pump room, down the hallway, out into, oh no, we went through the potable water tank rooms and out onto the facade. The point cloud scan. I spent a bit of time in this tree taking the drone out on this particular day, but we set up ground controls so that it could be geo-referenced and overlaid with our coordination models. Here we can see the hydraulics model, design model overlaid. We can verify proximity of installation, and if there was any installation that was outside of tolerance or it posed a potential coordination risk going forward, those particular installations were moved. Other benefit obviously is column set out. All of those starter bars line up, well, on either side of the building, the starter bars installed. see them here and here. I've got the yellow safety caps on them. Those are aligned with the structural columns. So at IFC, we actually went to IFC with 6 common floors. We currently have 7. So what happened was there was a request by the client to well, they did a feasibility study into adding an additional floor, and we were currently working on, I think, pouring level 1 slab at this particular time. And the only 2 beams in the project were those that you can see highlighted in blue. So the red column shows the transfer of the structural load, or the loads through the structure down to the raft slab. And this is a sketch from the PT subcontractor. So we've got engineer and subcontractor working together during construction phase to try and add this additional floor. On level 5, which is what we're on now, there is obviously these 2 columns here, but there was also 2 columns in the middle of the floor plate as well. And not only do we have to add an extra floor, but it was requested that could we take those 2 columns out in the middle of the floor plate. Those additional concrete beams, so below us, on level 4, and above us and the next floor above, required extremely important coordination. There was a lot of services that were obviously going on a flat plane under these floor plates, and now there was a dipping down with the column with the beams. So if we take a fly through here, we can see the end product actually, whereby all of the services have been able to do their thing. Some of them still had to go through the beam. That was obviously kept to a minimum, but the majority of the services were told to avoid that beam, obviously. And yeah, this is an example of those services as they currently exist today. Now, at the time, it seemed like an unnecessary stress to put onto the project team. But as you can see from this particular render, that was part of a render that was produced to help board with making their decision. What was the risk versus what was the return on investment from removing those columns? And obviously the return is being able to have up to 25% additional seating when you set up in this configuration, because the lines of sights of those columns meant a lot of those seats could not be filled. Subcontractor that was installing all of the pipe work for the mechanical systems came and saw us and advised that he thought there was an issue with the design. There was 2 problems that he saw: that he didn't want to be working at the top of that unit, which has a sheer drop off the back of concrete wall, but also he thought that because it's going over the unit and then down, there was potential to suck air, and apparently these units don't like to be doing that, so it became a maintenance consideration as well. So he suggested, why don't we run the pipe work at a lower under the soffit, this floor. So this is the installed configuration. You can see here this pipe pokes up. That actually goes underneath the unit and not over the top and then down the back. You can see the central law courts behind there and there's obviously a gap, thin air between there. So this is where the cursor's going now. Systems, they were the initial engineered or AFC design, and Chris's suggestion was that we run the pipe work underneath. So if we switch off the IFC design and look at a model that we did up for the purposes. So here we can see with Google Maps, that's a long way to fall when you're working from that height. So safety was the first consideration. Another was maintenance issues. So these cooling towers are worth $80,000 each if they were to be replaced. So what we did to preempt any or any callings for a variation for this change was that that there was 141 metres required of that copper-sized pipe work for this layer. But the revised design, which is shown in blue, only requires 133. This is a 360 image that shows that hydronic supply going underneath. Those plinths had to be lifted slightly to allow that pipe work to go in. Okay, so this is a render fly-through using a skybox to show the heating and cooling sides of that system.
As we take a look up on level 6, this is one of the function spaces that you may have seen in last week's video where we did the case study walkthrough of the finished facility. Now these videos that I'm showing here are a really good example of being able to visualize in high definition what a space will look like prior to its completion. Now it adds various benefits, one being the fact that critical assets, say a boiling water unit, a fan that you can see up in the top left of your screen at the moment, those sorts of assets need to be catalogued, and in terms of accessibility for tagging those assets, it allows reflected ceiling plan coordination to make sure that those access panels are in the correct location. It also provides a visual aid for any tradesperson that's attempting to install their particular trade. So take, for example, the copper pipe for hot and cold water. Those pipe runs are detailed, obviously fairly effectively. Here we look at engineered design solutions for the additional of the dentist to level 2. Those yellow objects there are the strands for PT. This is an example of a HDRI skybox overlaid within Enscape and showing all of those LOD 400 services models reticulated throughout.
So this is the mechanical part. It's on the west, we're in the western side, it's also on the east. And you'll notice that all of these valves are deemed maintainable assets. So each one of these has their own model object in the building. And in terms of performing maintenance, say on these drum cross pumps, we can scan the barcode, bring it up and log what maintenance is performed, whether that's preventative maintenance or maintenance required for fixing a fault.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Nathan for the interesting materials, and the materials are so useful that we can now know the many materials and features that can be integrated to the engineering tool. Now we can move to the next agenda for the second speaker. Let's welcome the speaker. The next speaker is the Vice Dean of Academic Affairs in School of Architecture, Planning, and Policy Development of Institut Teknologi Bandung. Graduated from Shibaura Institute of Technology, Tokyo, Japan, for his doctoral degree. Let's greet Mr. Aswin Indraprasta, PhD, with the topic Preparing the Competencies, Educating Future Architects with BIM to Mr. Aswin. Hello, Mr. Aswin.
Hello,
How are you, sir?
moderator. Fine. Can you hear my voice, yeah?
Yes, your voice is
Okay.
clear, sir. Okay, sir, you can start your presentation, sir. Please.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, participants, fellow engineers, yeah. And also I see some students from civil engineering department. I hope also here we can see architecture student as well. Thank you very much for this invitation. I'm very honored to become one of the speakers that very much will inform a lot of important things about the BIM implementation, particularly in Indonesia. My name is Aswin Indraprasta. I'm a registered architect and also lecturer from the architecture department, School of Architecture, Planning and Policy Development. So I'm here, maybe a few architects that joined this webinar. So architects will always be a part of the construction industry. So this is very relevant that I'm going to share with you all my concern about how to prepare future architects that work well in the BIM ecosystem. We know that we are facing great challenges, not just from our government, for example, with the very big project in new capital city, as mentioned by Pak Danis previously, and also a lot of transformation are going on right now in terms of design, construction, and also operation. So this is my title of for this very short presentation slot. I'm going to share you the things and also pointers that concern me about the education. So we have domestic challenges and also opportunity that in the past few years already endorsed by our government as well. The first one is the data literacy. Yeah, data literacy is a new, in my opinion, is a new significant and a very pivotal competency right now. Because if you talk about the architect profession, for example, and also, of course, engineering profession, we cannot escape the fact that all our profession now disrupted by the data. And data literacy is one of the key drivers that our profession still relevant and still contribute to the beneficial of our environment, our society. Challenges in construction industry resources will include manpower, material, machines, method, and also money. So in the context of methodology that we are going to tackle as engineers and as well as an architect, applied technology right now as construction industry innovation leads to added value in the collaboration and effectivity. So previously, Nathan explained very clearly about how to leverage the potentiality of BIM to generate the virtual physical building, including building services and building system prior construction. So these are what we are dealing right now in the next future. I see a lot of participant here is the civil engineering students, and you are all of you will face these challenges. One of the aspect that very much disrupted our education is the arrival of what we call BIM, or Building Information Modeling. So in my perspective, BIM is a transformation method in the architecture, engineering, construction, and operation industry, not just in the pragmatic sense of utilization of BIM software, utilization of BIM as a tool for make construction processes more lean, but also as a key driver for national competitiveness. We talk about the supply chains, we talk about the ecosystem, BIM ecosystem, broader context of BIM implementation, the nationwide implementation. It's not just in the shoulder of the designer, architect, and also the contractor, engineers, but also supplier, vendors, and all party that involved in construction industry. So in that what I think urgent matter, a fundamental challenge lies in the upstream side, or in Indonesia we call sisi hulu, means education. Of course, all that going on in industry, it will disrupted if the supply side or education side is not balanced with the demand. So I'm here talking about particularly in architectural education, where I'm trained, and also where I came from. The upstream overview of architectural education in Indonesia. Indonesia have more than 170 undergraduate programs in architecture in 34 provinces. I'm pretty sure we have a lot more in engineering programs throughout Indonesia, not to mention vocational education. Only 15 or maximum 20% of each of those programs, the graduates will become architects or eventually registered architects. And the remaining, we will go to work in various fields or pursue further education or pursue professional education, as mentioned previously by ASEAN Engineers Registrar. We have issue in standard quality of education outcome and competencies. The outcome and competencies, these are two keywords right now that more important than ever, especially when there is a new and challenging demand from government and industry. The volatile, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity condition apparently does not rise a sense of urgency yet amongst academicians, at least in my opinion, in architecture schools. There will be an increasing demand for professionals, including architects, engineers, to transform our AEC industry and our ecosystem, not just for the player, the doer, the constructor, the architects, manager, project managers, but also for owner representative, means government, and also local government or private companies. So this is the description of the overview in upstream side in architectural field. Still in upstream overview, most architecture schools in Indonesia are based on upon the tenet that the great architecture developed from creative inquiry, built on a solid technical foundation, and incorporate research and social cultural consciousness. These are the tenet for architectural education around the world. In recent years, we witnessing that the government, central government, has a very good program, called Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka. This is a very good program for narrowing the gap between academia and industry, makes the graduates more prepared for workforce. It is opening and narrowing the gap between academia and industry. But the collaborative mindset, this is in the context of university or focusly on department or faculty. The collaborative mindset in this context, the BIM paradigm and the energy goals or the green paradigm in the design process, because we talk about architectural education, are not fully incorporated into the curriculum. So my presentation title involving what I call the green beam, because there are two issues that architectural graduates has to fully prepare. The first one is BIM paradigm. The second one is green paradigm. Recognition of competencies nowadays required certificates or proof of competencies. What happened with the question mark? Because right now, almost all of the government projects rely on proof of competencies to all players, to all parties that participate in the project. So in the academia, we are facing this kind of requirement from the industry. So these are the overview from the upstream side or the academic side. On the other hand, downstream or sisi hilir, Indonesia now already have the instruments, the regulation, and preparing for the ecosystem. Government already issued government regulation or peraturan pemerintah number 16 in 2021 related with the BIM implementation in governmental projects, and followed by ministry regulation and decree peraturan menteri PUPR number 22 in 2018, and also followed by number 9 in 2021, and also ministerial decree just recently, number 4 in 2022. We also just recently have the what we call BIM National Competency Standard. This is a very important standard answering the question previously. What do university prepare for the graduates to respond to the BIM ecosystem requirement? So this is the very important document just issued recently. Of course, government issued the BIM protocols, guidance, and all of the standards, at least help not just academia, but also public for the what do they have to understand when they talk about BIM. Meanwhile, in the industry and community, we also have what we call movement, movement of the BIM ecosystem. Government-owned companies such as Hutama Karya, for example, as leading actors for implementing BIMs in all of the government sponsored projects. Architecture and engineering consultants, contractors, developers, construction management firms also in the gear up to prepare the whole company to adopt and adapt with the new workflow with BIM. Of course, we have a governmental think tank called Indonesian BIM Institute, IBIMI, that hopefully in a short period of time become the professional association for the BIM related position in the workers. So Indonesia also have many training centers, software vendors, BIM related startups, for example, BIM library startups and others. Of course, when we talk about BIM ecosystem, we must include the building materials, building equipment, and others. So these are the downstream profile. Now, back to the academia. What I think, and it is concern me about how we can prepare our future generation to be responsive and also to be able to tackle such disruption. There are three factors. The foundation is the computational thinking. Computational thinking, in my opinion, is a must to introduce to our all engineering students as well as architecture students, because this is the foundation to understand the workflow, the system, and also later on how we can handle if we are an architects and also an engineers in BIM related projects. So BIM here is a mean or tool, and the goal, in my opinion, one of the important goal for our design as an architect or our of course output as an engineers is a green. How we can design the more green buildings, for example, or more energy efficient projects. Green BIM is a design method that redefine design and construction process with green or energy as a design goal. So fundamental understanding of parametric and federated modeling, collaboration and coordination through BIM system is an imperative aspect that must be introduced to our students. Ideal method of learning, because we talk about the collaboration and coordination, must be project-based, must be collaborative and teamwork learning. It is a thing in the past that we, as an architect, think that we can do all project by ourselves. In the new learning platform, we experimented. Later on, I will show you the slides. That it is hard to introduce new pedagogy for architecture student as well as engineering student as a part of the studio. So this is my proposal. Ideal method for of the learning should be and must be project-based, collaborative, and teamwork learning. We also have to train our future engineers and future architects a new mindset, because we will have a new workflow in our future workforce. Educating future architects need to incorporate a new mindset and workflow skill set to be adaptive and agile in a changing world. The world cannot be traced back to previous one. The world will move faster and faster. Professor Randy Deus mentioned about two skill set that architects must have in the future generation of architects. First is horizontal skill set, means the professional or architect that have a broader context of understanding the surroundings, a very good and broad vision, have the conceptual and critical thinking, and also understand what is the integrated design with the soft skill, interpersonal and communication skill, for example. That is all horizontal skill set. The second one, vertical skill set. These are the statistical reasoning, the deep understanding about an issue, software know-how, and all the hard skills that we have to prepare the students. The criteria for this new mindset and workflow is understanding collaborative skills, ability to recognize varied talent found in interdisciplinary design project teams. This is very important and very hard to experiment, because as a lecturer, we have to introduce a new approach, how students can learn something from collaborative activities. Okay, I think I have very short time, so this is some experiment and experience in our departments. I think this is about 8 years ago. Yeah, we try to create a new studio that incorporate academia and industry partners to help us how to set up a collaborative workspace amongst the student with the BIM platform, so student can learn and simulate the BIM system in the real world. Recently, we had another experiment with the engineering department in our university in ITB, Department of Architecture, collaborate with civil engineering department, electrical engineering department, mechanical engineering department, industrial physics, environmental engineering, and also interior design department. So we create what we call collaborative and interdisciplinary design projects. This is the new studio that we experiment. We instructed students to become a groups where each group consists of multiple discipline. So the unexpected result is that students learn a lot from this kind of learning environment. So when we set up a project that a student must solve the problem, for example, each group can examine the problem through different disciplines. This is a very engaging activity. For example, here in this slide, student from interior design, architecture, and later on electrical engineering try to solve how to add a new elevators, for example, in the case study. This is we experiment on the collaborative platform. Architecture and industrial physics is a very closely collaborate to simulate, for example, how to increase daylight in particular lecture room, and the student from engineering physics calculate the requirement, and student from interior design redesign the interior. So this kind of collaborative and project-based learning, although it is very hard to formulate, because we have to prepare anything from the project itself, the the course outcome and how to evaluate this student for performance. But nevertheless, the experience, the learning experience by the students is very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Some students learn from this activity rather from the lectures. So these are some slides by the students presentation. This is from the civil engineering and architecture, how to deal with the new additional floor, for example. This student from civils calculate the requirement for beam, for floor slab, and so on, and the consequences, the student from other department will respond to the result. That is sharing and also raising the concern from architecture. Again, architecture will always be part of the construction industry. Thank you very much, and I hope we can discuss about this on the later session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Aswin. Thank you very much, Mr. Aswin. That's a fruitful presentation about preparing the competencies, educating future architects with green BIM, and the BIM implementation through academic competencies, which is not only would be important for the architects, engineers, but also contractors, vendors, and suppliers, especially in the construction industry. Furthermore, Mr. Aswin said that the academic sides between the upstream and downstream will be issues and should be considered in the implementation to the BIM for the nationwide, which is one of the through the BIM national standard, facility, and other supporting factors. Thank you, Mr. Aswin. We will wait in the end, maybe for the question and answer. Okay. Okay, now we can move to the next agenda. Let's welcome the third speaker. So this is the last speaker. For this third speaker, we welcome Ms. Ami Rahmadani Widyastuti. She is currently the Senior Analyst of Digital Construction in PT Hutama Karya Persero. She has been in architecture, construction, and engineering industry for over 15 years and involved in the development of BIM standard in her organization and also in Indonesia. Let's welcome Ms. Ami with the topic Hutama Karya's approach on global infrastructure challenge. Hello, Mbak Ami. Ms. Ami, how are you?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Okay, Ms. Ami, we can't wait for your great presentation for today. Ms. Ami, so the floor is yours, please.
Okay, thank you. I will share my screen. Okay, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Greetings to Pak Aswin and Nathan as today's speaker and all of the participants today. I'm Amy, a Senior Analyst of Digital Construction in Hutama Karya, and thank you very much for the opportunity to present at this ASEAN BIM webinar. As previously, Nathan has shown a great study case on BIM, and Pak Aswin shows the importance of digital competencies and BIM national competencies standard. I couldn't agree more on how important it is the collaboration between the academics and also the practitioners. So today I will share an insight about the Hutama Karya's approach on global infrastructure challenges. This is an effort to improve the efficiency and sustainability throughout the project lifecycle. So Hutama Karya is one of the largest state-owned enterprises in Indonesia with main business as general contractors and toll road developers. Since 1961, Hutama Karya has developed numbers of incredible infrastructures, from toll road, dams, high-rise buildings, power plants to manufacturing. As an experienced player in the construction industry, we have principles on running our business, which are quality, cost, times, and also good governance. At the same time, this digitalization is an effort to support the government to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals as a global agenda from the United Nations. There are approximately 13 from 17 SDGs point can be supported by Hutama Karya's approach on sustainable construction. So moving on to the aspect and challenges of the global infrastructure, as we can see that there are many aspects we are facing currently. It will impact direct and indirectly for our daily activities. Those aspects are ranging from the weak productivity and profitability, the high number of work accidents, the high energy consumption, and also the late technology adoption. Those are the things that the construction industry currently facing. So this is the study of 2022 of the greenhouse emission of all of the industry around the world. The total contribution from industry and transportation activities is approximately 50% to the greenhouse gas emission, which 31.2% are contributes by the manufacturing industry and construction activities. Therefore, it is really important for us to becoming a part of the solution of these issues as well. As we can see that no single player acting alone can affect real change in the structures. Collaboration is the key. So there are many efforts that are promoted globally to solve these sustainability issues. It is ranging from the developments in financing, the resilience and sustainability on each project, and of course, the impact of technology. Because technology is the disruption that will become a big part of the solution to the world's infrastructure challenges. If we can compare the sustainable construction and the conventional construction, we can see that the sustainable construction can reduce carbon emission, construction waste, and also energy consumption. But it will also impacting in higher startup costs. But at the same time, considering the sustainable construction will lower the cost in the operational phase of the project lifecycle itself. So this is the most important consideration part to use the sustainable construction. So we are moving on to the digital construction approach in Hutama Karya. In general perspective, digital construction refers to the integration of digital tools, technologies, and processes in the construction industry to improve efficiency, productivity, and collaboration throughout the construction life cycle. Not only it concludes the building information modeling technologies, but also the importance of the Internet of Things, robotics, artificial intelligence, and also the virtual reality and cloud computing are the range of all of this digital construction aspect. More in the activities of design and planning, supply chain management, construction execution, project management, monitoring and controlling, visualization and communication, and also data analytics and insights. Everything is contribute to the digital construction in our industry. So not only by the academician and also the practitioner, but as Pa Aswin mentioned, our government is also concerned about how this technology, especially BIM, bring the advantage to the common problems in our industry, from reducing claims, reducing project duration, construction costs, and also rework and document error. Those range are the benefit of using the BIM technology and also the collaborative process that will enhance our productivity. So as well in Hutama Karya, the importance for us to use the digital construction in our daily business is to eliminate the inefficient process in the construction activities. Using this technology can also help us to validate all of the volume and provide the automatic calculation, and it can support our decision making and also the risk mitigation on investment to avoid cost overrun. Also, in the time aspect, it will eliminate the inefficient process and significantly reducing consume time to deliver the project. And the last one is the governance aspect. The data produced from these digital construction activities is very reliable. It can highly traceable and create transparency and also accountability and mitigating the fraud of data risk. So here we can see the numbers of projects that Hutama Karya is currently working on. There are more than 50 projects that are running, and we have been implementing BIM in all of our projects since 2020. And here's the picture of the project life cycle from pre-construction, construction to operation and maintenance, where we use each of the technologies and integrating all of the information created from each activities. From the digital survey using the BIM and also GIS in planning, in monitoring, controlling, and also in operating and maintenance. Of course, the production of class analysis, engineering analysis, and virtual simulation tests in the pre-construction phase will be continued in the construction phase, taking the quantity takeoff, using the quality control, and also the project execution and monitoring. And all of this effort, we provide the BIM in order to be utilized in operation and maintenance phase, in order to ensure the historical data can support the predictive maintenance in the future. So moving on to a study case of Hutama Karya's project. In this opportunity, I will take an example from BIM and digital construction implementation in one of our construction project. This is a dam construction project in Konawe, Southeast Sulawesi, Indonesia. This is Ameroro Dam project. This project is located around 2 hours driving from the capital city. So it's quite a remote area. So with the total capacity of 54.15 million meter cubics with 33.9 billion US dollar, this national strategic project is really important to increase the number of water reservoir in Indonesia and also to support the food security and water supply for the agricultural area around the project itself. As we can see that on a national strategic project, there are challenges ranging from the environment challenging, from the terrain and also the dense forest, the variety of soil condition, and also the remote area that we need to cover. And also how we can manage the project with tight schedule and also the complex scope of works, as well as ensuring the reliable project integrated database while monitoring the project remotely. So the regulation that we need to cover is the Permen PUPR number 9 in 2021. It ensuring the implementation of lean construction and also sustainable construction using BIM. So we need to comply to all of those regulation, where our action is we need to always ensuring that the people who are related in this project understand the importance of using this technology, and also we need to control the waste, doing the risk mitigation throughout the project, doing the quality assurance, and also providing the goals of effective and efficient design and construction. So in Hutama Karya, we have many kind of digital survey technologies such as LiDAR, photogrammetry drone, laser scanning, and all of it can be utilized depend on the needs of the project itself. In this example, this project is utilizing the drone photogrammetry is a non-terrestrial survey methods using the unmanned aircraft to monitor the physical progress of the work. It is highly utilized in this project because we are taking the data from the initial phase and throughout the construction period. We took the photo with the drone to cover the dense forest in the project site. And this effort also will reduce the risk of our surveyor personnel to be harmed during the data acquisition since the landscape is very challenging. And also this time, this process is also 4 times faster than the conventional method since the result can be quickly processed and overlaid by the BIM model to help analyze and help the decision-making process. In construction phase, BIM are developed following the field realization and integrated with the master schedule. For the project facing and useful resources for monitoring and controlling, it also provides the accurate quantity to support cost and procurement verification. Throughout the process, it is always carefully monitored every month and weekly with the activities mapping of the actual realization and plan using the 4D scheduling methods. Therefore, the model itself is becoming the digital twin of the actual situation on the site. As we can see here is the utilization of the common data environment. This is an important integrated platform that are utilized not only to centralize the data management as the repository for all project-related information, but also to improve collaboration between stakeholders, since the stakeholders are not only located in one area, but they are scattered around those areas. This platform is promoting the quicker and more reliable platform to collaborate. And also it enhanced the security using the CDE to prevent unauthorized access to the project data. Okay, please wait. I think I have an issue with my presentation. Okay, let me open it again.
Okay, as we can wait for Ms. Ami to share the screen, I would like to remind all the participants to fulfill the form in the group chat and please fill the attendance screen over here. Okay, now you can continue.
Okay, I think we're back. Apologize for the issues. So this last slide is regarding the utilization of a platform, which is a project management information system platform. This is a tools to monitor and control, which is integrating all of the information from the BIM output, the project performance output, the cash flow output, and also the visual representation of the existing project. It will help the management to mitigate the project delay and optimize the progress because the data is near real time. So the integration of the tools is really important, not only one or two technologies, but many other technologies that we have. So, waktu sholat asar akan masuk dalam waktu 5 menit ke depan. Terima kasih. So, by the end of my presentation, I will conclude this presentation with some summaries, which is time, cost, quality, and governance are crucial to our business. And all of this can be optimized with the huge contribution of the digital technology, not only for the sake of profit, but also on how we can utilize the information for supporting good governance and improving our quality on project delivery. Our digital construction innovation has not only assisted us on solving the engineering problem with the high accuracy of data, but also created a more sustainable infrastructure towards a healthier environment, improve human well-being, and also help to boost the economic growth of surrounding areas. Thank you, and I will return to the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much for Ms. Ami for the incredible presentation about Hutama Karya's approach on global infrastructure challenge, and that we can learn from the different aspects, including on how the perspective between the sustainable construction and conventional construction, and one of it is important to also help in reducing errors and increasing construction productivity, and also creating transparency in the field. Thank you, Ms. Ami, for the presentation and the materials. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with all the presentation that has been delivered from Mr. Nathan, Mr. Aswin, and Ms. Ami, so then let's open the question and answer session. Okay, let's check for the first question. We can see the first question here for Mr. Aswin Indra Prasta, PhD. That is from Daniel Bapeda. The question is, building information modeling, or BIM, has been applied to the whole life cycle planning of construction projects. So far, how is the application of BIM protocols and standards as part of the BIM system in building and infrastructure development projects within Bandung Institute of Technology and supervising the implementation of the BIM system? So, Mr. Aswin, please help to.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, moderator. Thank you, Pak Daniel from Bapeda. Yes, Pak, ITB a few years back have a strong initiation to have to develop BIM ready for the institutional project. ITB set up a team because this is the very first time ITB initiate this kind of team or system that the goal is to prepare BIM ready in the what we call Department of Infrastructure within ITB. So the first project that we try to implement the BIM is, as you probably already know, we have a project that we try to maximize how we can deal, how we can manage this project based on our knowledge about the BIM system. Apparently, our BIM implementation is not started from a very beginning, but we still managed to maximize the potentiality of how we can manage the project properly with BIM. So, for example, we and as a project owners and also appointed parties, consultants, architects, and also contractors, project management firms, working together to formulate or to working out with the BIM execution plan, because BIM execution plan is very important document that we also know that we understand each other how we can manage the project very efficiently using BIM, because BIM implementation also have the what we call key performance indicator, as previously mentioned by Ibu Ami, So in technicality, we also implemented common data environment for exchange information, and the challenges now lies on the organization. So increasing compatibility of BIM workflows mean increasing capability of the personals, not just from the contractors, for example, also project construction management firms, and as well as consultants. But in the project owner sides, this is very important that we also have to have the strong team to manage not just project team but also ITB as an institution. I think that's my short answer regarding your question, Pak Daniel. So in short answer, yes, we implement BIM in this project based on the BIM protocols, and also we step by step working together with all of the parties in this project. Hopefully, parallel with the field construction progress, we can keep up with the process, digital process that as Mr. Nathan previously demonstrated, we can achieve that level of BIM implementation. Thank you, Pak Daniel.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aswin. So it's like all about collaboration and elaboration so that we can implement for the BIM execution plan, right, sir? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Aswin and Mr. Daniel, for the questions. Now we can move to the next second question. But before that, we would like to apologize because Mr. Nathan cannot be in our question and answer session as there's some circumstances that he cannot attend the session. Okay. And the next question is to Mr. Aswin Indraswasta again. This is from Mr. Ahmad Auliadi from Institute Technology of Sumatra.
Okay, thank you for the question, Mr. Ahmad Auliadi. I really appreciate. I understand you are from ITERA. I also see some students from ITERA here. So if I'm not mistaken, your question related with the biophilic design or also biophilic principles into the design. From what I understand, the principality of biophilics is closely related with the energy efficiency as well as well-being. How the principle of design give a positive impact for the users, whether it the facility for institutional facility, schools, for example. Biophilic is closely related with architectural principles. So how is it going to relate with the BIM? In my opinion, it doesn't matter the design approach, design principles, design goals, whether it biophilics, a metaphor, or other architectural themes. the execution of this design, when it is carried out by the BIM system, it is must involving it is must involve collaboratively with other parties. For example, in the context of biophilic design, in my understanding, you should simulate, for example, how much sunlight that penetrate into your particular facility, for example, or how much fresh air that can circulate in your particular rooms, designated rooms, for example. And those kind of simulation must be carried out in the earlier stage of design, which means it is in the responsibility of architects, not engineers, or architects collaborate with engineers in the earlier stage of design, not in the final stage of design. Because in the earlier stage of design, when you applied biophilic principle, for example, it is the stage that still needs iterative and creative processes. So in related with my answer, it is important that you understand the importance of collaboration between disciplines in the context of design process. So I hope you understand my answer. Biophilics is one of the design approaches that set goals to become one of the solution for more sustainable environment. It is a positive, give a positive impact. BIM is the method how to realize that kind of architectural themes into the reality. How? By implementing BIM in the earlier stage of design process. By BIM, I mean not just particular software, but workflow. Yeah, the environmental simulation, environmental modeling with clear set of goals, of course, in line with the biophilic principles, should be experimented in the earlier stage of design. Of course, it will give a very huge impact, rather than we can architect can have whatever theme or whatever label for his or her design, but in the implementation, we cannot sure whether our principles implemented in the real or in the real project after construction. I think that is my answer, ya Pak Ahmad Auliadi.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aswin, and thank you for the question about the Philip to Mr. Ahmad Auliadi. We can move to the next questions, and the next questions. Okay, this is the next question. This from Dewi Pusparini to Miss Ami. The question is, how do traditional construction projects and BIM-based projects compare in terms of sustainability, cost, and time? And what are the steps that construction industry stakeholders need to take to expand BIM adoption? So, Ms. Ami, you can help to answer this
Okay.
question.
Okay, thank you for the question, Ms. Dewi. So, as we can see that in traditional construction methods, they are rely on, for example, the simplest thing is on many printouts of the file of the drawings itself, and also it will show that the data are scattered all over the project. When the project is finished, many times the data cannot be traced anymore. In years to come, the project or the facility operators will be asking about where's the data, where's the information that I need for running this facility, and they will find problems on finding those data. Also, during the construction process, wastes are huge because the inaccuracy of calculation. And also, the risks are higher since there is no simulation and class analysis. If we compare to the digital approach to support sustainable construction, we can eliminate those issues because using this digital approach can ensure us to collecting the data from the earliest phase of the project. And it always rely on the people itself because when the people is not using the data or not collecting the data properly, the data will not be able to help the next phase of the project life cycle itself. So the traditional compared to the digital approach are also rely on the people, how they manage and how they utilize this technology wisely. And also for the second question, what are the steps that construction industry stakeholders need to take to expand BIM adoption? I will say it always comes back to the four aspects that we need to always consider. The first one is the people, the second one is the policy, the third one is the process, and the fourth one is the technology. The technology aspect is the easiest one. It will help by the investment. Of course, it will need a high number of investment to establish all of this system, but this is the easiest part because the policy is the thing that everyone need to consider which are the best for their organization, which are the best for the national standard, for example. And also the people is as I said earlier, are the most important part because the investment in people is the most expensive one because not only the people in the technical level, but also in the managerial level and also in the strategic level need to be on board at the same time to run this BIM implementation. In an organization itself or in a project itself, everyone needs to contribute to the succession of the BIM implementation. And the other thing is the process. The process is always depend on the people itself. When you already establish the policy, the people are the key to run this process, changing the working methods, changing the mindset, and changing the approach to monitor and also to review the value capture of BIM implementation. So I think the BIM adoption needs to be implemented and also integrated with all of other technologies and as well as the collaboration between people to understand how important is this digital construction approach on our industry. Okay, I think that's all my answer for this question.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ami. So we need to collaborate and integrate all the factors and aspects, right, to implement the BIM itself. We hope that it could be a good answer and answer the questions from Ms. Dewi. And so we can move to the next questions from Mr. Reska. The question is, from the global infrastructure and construction challenge based on your organization business process, which challenges that are affecting and impacting your organization and how your organization responds to those challenges? Please, Ms. Ami, you can help to answer the question.
Thank you for the question, Pak Reska. So as I mentioned earlier, there are aspects that are affecting the global infrastructure industry, and it also happening in our organization as well. from the weak productivity and profitability, the number of accidents, for example, the high carbon emission, and also the late technology adoption. It all happening. Some of it we already recover, but some of it are still in the process of improvement. So I can say that what we are doing is to implement this digital construction approach earlier, since the earliest phase, and also before it even mandated by the government in all of those projects. We understand that the challenge are happening, and the advantage that we can gain from implementing this technology is not for the other parties, not for the owners, not for the government, but for our own organization. Therefore, the management understand that the investment need to be done, the investment in people, in the technology, doing the process, and also creating a policy that supports the BIM implementation in all of Utama Karya's project since around 2020. As we can see that in the recent year, the government has just started to mandating the BIM utilization. They are requesting the files at the end of the project, and also during the current project. And since we already implementing those in the earliest phase, we can contribute to send those files to the government so it can be utilized for the facilities operation and becoming a part of data integration for this national database. So I think not only this organization or each organization need to overcome the challenge, but each of us need to see what are the benefit of using the BIM, also these digital construction methods to support our business in the future. Okay, I think that's all my answer.
Okay, thank you very much to Ms. Ami. So that is the last question for our question and answer session. I would like to say thank you to all speakers, Mr. Aswin and Ms. Ami.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Mr.
Terima
Farhan.
kasih.
Ya, terima kasih Pak.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Bu Ami. Okay, thank you for all the speakers for giving us the valuable knowledge. As I can conclude for today's webinar, that digitalization and the concept of a digital twin are transforming the construction industry, enhancing efficiency, cutting costs, and fostering better collaboration across teams and stakeholders. And then a BIM is a tool and a green is a goal. So by digitizing the construction, we can face global infrastructure construction challenge to achieve sustainable infrastructure and optimizing investment and high quality assets. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers today, which has been an extraordinary honor for us. And for all the speakers, or please, if you have to leave the room earlier, once again, thank you for your incredible, valuable insights on enhancing and sustainable construction through building information modeling. We would also like to express our gratitude to all parties who supported this event that organized by ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organizations and Badan Kejuruan Sipil Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia through Hakka Expert Talk platform. To all our participants, we sincerely thank you. Please don't forget to fill out the attendance link and follow the Instagram account at bekasipil_PII, as well as subscribe to the Bekasipil PII YouTube channel. However, don't go anywhere because we have an exciting quiz session coming up. Okay, before the quiz, from all the questions that has been answered descriptively by the speakers, We have 3 best participants who will receive interesting gifts from the committee. And here are the best participants. You can see in the screen. To the best participants, please contact the committee through the email of the AFEO team, AFEO BIM competition at gmail.com, and attach your ID. Again, please contact the AFEO team through the email AFEO BIM competition at gmail.com and attach your ID. Okay, that's all from the best participants. And finally, we have come to the most waited session. It's quiz time. And to join the quiz, please log in to quizzes.com. It's QUIZIIZ.com. Please click on your website and to QUIZIIZ.com. And you can join by entering the number on the column using your name and your organization information. As shown on the screen, you can click the game code for the number 660521. Or you can scan the QR code to join the quiz as below. Once again, please enter the game code using 660521, or you can scan the QR code through the screen to join the quiz. You can access the quiz through quizzes.com or QUIZIIZ.com using your name and organization. Here is the participants that have joined, 4 or 5. Again, we will remind all the participants to join the quiz, as we will give a very interesting gift for the ones that can win the game over here through the leaderboard. And how you can access the game? Enter the website quizzes.com by QUIZIIZ.com and enter the game code 660521. Or you can also scan the QR code. QR code over here in the screen. Now we've got for around 26 participants, 27. Come on, we will wait for the participants to join the quiz, as we are going to give you an interesting gift at the end of the winners that can answer the question. Okay, the last call for the participants to join the quiz from quizzes.com. How to join? You should enter it www.quizzes.com, QUIZIIZ.com. Then don't forget to enter the game code 660521, or you can scan the QR code as shown on the screen here. Okay, so we're gaining all the participants to join the quiz, and it's about to go to 100, and when it's 100 we will close and start the game. We will wait for the participants to join using quizzes.com, and you can join on the number of the game code of 660521, or scan the QR code as shown in the screen. Yes, we've got for about 80, 90, and it's going to be 100 participants. And we will start within the countdown, the final countdown. Okay, so sorry, we are going to refresh the website over here to join using the quizzes.com. Please patiently wait, because we are reloading too, and we are gathering the participants to join the quiz, and so the winners can get the interesting gifts from the committee. Again, please access it. We're waiting for the network. Just patiently wait. Okay, and the participant can join again from the quizzes.com. Again, how to join is that you can go to the URL of www.quizzes.com, QUIZIZ iiz.com, and the answer and the questions, will be all about the materials that we provide today about enhancing the sustainable construction through building information modeling. As we wait for the committee to share the screen to the questions for the quiz today, so you can enter the quiz. And over here we have the screen shared, and please log in to 660521, and now we have already 167 participants, and we will start within the final countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think there's a problem in the network, so we can wait until it can be started again, and we have for more than 100 participants that is loading. We are sorry before because the network is still reloading over here. And we would like to remind again that please stay in the network of the quizzes.com, because we will about to start the quiz about enhancing the sustainable construction through building information modeling. So please be patient to wait, as in the end the winners will get the interesting prize from the quiz. Okay, please be patient as it's still loading. Don't forget to stay tuned and prepare for answering the questions. Now we can start, maybe, or it's still loading. It's still loading. And to enter the game, don't forget to enter using 660521. Okay, because it's already 200 participants and we already made a countdown, we can start the game. 3, 2, 1, now start. Now we can start the game and the quiz. And the first question, you can see on the side on the screen. Okay. Various aspects of the challenge faced by the construction high productivity and we can continue on your platform, maybe, to continue to answer the questions. And maybe if you see your phone or maybe your computer, you can see that there's some of questions like reasons that encourage the implementation of BIM except governmental regulation, and the second choice is ministerial regulation and decree, and the third, BIM national competency standard. The next is encouragement of state interest in construction. Then the next questions, it will be about the value of digital construction implementation except A, cost, then time, governance, then quantity. So it's not available in our screen, but in your platform, when you access the quiz, you can see the questions. It's ongoing, and please keep on answering the question, as we will give you the last leaderboard that has completed the answer. Okay, so don't worry. Here we can see the leaderboard still, so please keep on answering the question. And there's another question. One of it is, digital construction encompasses a wide range of activities, excluding A, design and execution, B, supply chain management, C, monitoring and control, and D, project management. And that's the next question. If you have answers, maybe you will be next to the next questions. Like, the next question will be, which includes the vertical skill set? A, adaptive, B, integrated design, hard skills, and the last is agile. Over here in the share screen, we can see the leaderboard. Yes, from 241 participants, we can see the end of the leaderboard itself, and you can keep on answering the questions from your platform and see the leaderboard as in the end, it will conclude all the winners in your platform. And don't forget to print screen or screenshot the leaderboard as if you win the game. Yeah. And the next question was, what steps are involved to the development process of a BIM model? And we've got another last question. How can BIM influence a paradigm shift in construction project management? The multiple choice are reducing project complexity, having an impact on project management, enhancing collaboration and coordination, and the last, speeding up the construction process answer. Please answer the questions. Then in your platform, we can see the leaderboard over here, which can be all done. And please don't forget to screenshot if you are in the top 10 of the leaderboard with your score in the quizzes.com as shown as like this. Okay, you can screenshot it and send to the committee ASEAN BIM competition at gmail.com. Okay. Okay, maybe that's all for the quiz time, right? For the all winners, I would like to remind again to please capture your screen and send it to us with your identity proof by email to afeobimcompetition@gmail.com. Once again, I would like to remember for all winners of the quizzes.com, please capture your screen and send it to us with your identity proof by email to afeobimcompetition@gmail.com so that we can process interesting gifts for you. Okay, that's all from the quiz session for today. Finally, we have come to the end of this webinar. We would like to thank to all speakers, participants, and team who have been the important part of this event. I'm Dewan, as moderator, would like to apologize if there's a mistake that occurred in this event. And thank you for your attention. Have a great day to you all. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Terima kasih, Dewan.
Terima kasih Pak Aswin, terima kasih Mbak Dewan.
Cerita inspirasi untuk negeri, berbagi inovasi untuk solusi